Let's hit the record. And I want to welcome everyone to our webinar tonight. So we are just going to hang out and we are going to chat about reducing our toxic load and green cleaning for the month of April. Okay. Are you guys all excited? I hope you're as excited as I am. This is one of my favorite things to do, is to green clean in my home. It was probably one of the actual first areas in my home that I really started to dive into and started to make some huge drastic changes even before we made adjustments in our health and how the oils could help us on the health side. We really started to green clean, and I think I was only a couple months into having my oils in my home where I started to understand all the benefits of cleaning and DIY cleaning and all the things that we're going to talk about tonight. So tonight I do have a little tiny presentation for you. It's not super huge, but really the purpose of tonight's webinar or chat or hangout or whatever you guys want to call it is we want you to understand the importance of why we're going to be featuring green cleaning in Essential Oil Academy for the entire month of April, or why you, maybe if you're watching this, you find it on YouTube or somewhere where somebody shares this webinar with you, this chat, why it is so important that we actually learn how to do something called reduce toxic load. So it might be, maybe you think it's just fun and you're saving money or anything, but it's actually impacting your health in a huge way. And as a woman and as a mom and as somebody who is passionate about helping other people in their health, I always want everybody to know all of their options. And then guess what? You get to choose what you do with that knowledge, because knowledge is power, right? And then you get to choose. But this is a topic that's near and dear to me because it is affecting women's health in a dramatic way. And so tonight on our, I'm actually going to, it won't, Julie, it will not let me add you. You're there. Can you talk, Julie? Can we hear
I don't
you?
know. I can talk. I think it says that you stopped my video, but not my voice.
Okay. So, I'm trying to, it won't actually let me do, I don't know why it's not letting me do your video. That's so weird.
It only allows one at a time right now.
Maybe, but I think if I make you a host, then I can't share my screen. So, all right. So Julie is joining us from Chicago. While she's talking, I'm going to keep trying to figure out how we can get her so we can see her beautiful face. Julie is a licensed acupuncturist and is in the field of natural health. And how long have you been in this field, Julie?
About 6 or 7 years.
Okay, so 6 or 7 years. She sits on the Illinois Acupuncturist Board, and she is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to why we need to be reducing toxic load. So Julie's going to be joining me because I thought, you know what, it's going to be a lot more fun if you get to hear from somebody besides me on this topic, because Julie knows a lot more sometimes on this topic than I do. And so before we get into reducing toxic load, Julie, what do you say, like, what are some of the biggest health challenges that women face because of toxins that they're exposed to? And not necessarily just household cleaners, because we're going to talk about that in just a second, but just all the things that are happening in a woman's body and why we need to be a little bit more aware of some of these toxins that we have going on.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're being assaulted from all directions, unfortunately, in this day and age in our society, because so many girls are coming up through their teens or even preteens, and they're being exposed to different hormone disruptors in like makeup products and body lotions before they're even really taking over a lot of the home cleaning responsibilities, just in the things that they're putting on themselves. And that they're exposed to every time they walk through their own kitchen or someone's, cleaning in there. So then they get on birth control pills, right? Some of them for hormone regulation, they call it. So then they're exposed to all sorts of synthetic hormones during their most formative years. And then a few years later, or 10 years later, they decide to try to have kids, and they are having trouble having kids because their hormones have been disrupted for a decade or two at that point. And their bodies aren't even functioning. They're not even going through the monthly cycles, if you're on hormonal replacement birth control type pills where you're not even ovulating, you're not even actually shedding your uterine lining, you're having a fake period basically every month. So there's a lot that's not allowed to go on in the body when girls and women are exposed to these hormone disruptors. And that's only one part of it. You know, you've only mentioned women, but men sperm counts have gone down by 50% in the last 50 years or less. So that's a huge reduction. Right now, an 80-year-old man has a better sperm count than a 20-year-old man does on average. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. So all these infertile couples that you're seeing right now struggling with these infertility treatments, it's not always the woman even who's the only kind of weaker link in that. It's oftentimes the men now too with their very low sperm quality.
It's shocking when you hear these numbers, and we're like, and would you say that a lot of it is preventable if we just have more knowledge on the products that we're using?
Oh, absolutely. This is all environmental. If you look at the studies on, and especially on sperm counts, because it's so much easier to measure than all the factors that go into women's monthly cycles. But if you just look at the environmental exposures, I mean, it's between our food, it's between our household cleaners, it's between our fabric softeners are a huge culprit in this too, shockingly to some people, to all of the things that we're literally just rubbing on our bodies every day. So Axe body spray or something like that. I mean,
yeah.
No.
All right. So are you ladies ready? Are you gentlemen ready that are joining us tonight? So if you have questions as we're going through some of this stuff, this information, we're only planning on having this be about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just to kind of give you that knowledge of why we're going to be passionate about this, because it's not just for the month of April, it's for April, May, and June. It's going to be our focus. And so if you have questions in this, please type them into the comments and we're going to answer them as much as we can. Tonight. Okay, so let's go to, let's see. I am actually going to share my screen just a little bit. Okay, and so this slideshow is, we're just going to play it really quick, is why are we going to going green? Okay, so here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen, is that in doTERRA, if you haven't figured this out yet, we have this thing, it's called our wellness pyramid, okay? And this is the pillars of how we create health and vitality in our lives, okay? So the foundation of that is eating right, and then exercising, resting, and managing our stress. And then we've got this big red rectangle on our wellness pyramid. This is all lifestyle things, is to reduce toxic load. And so before we really dive into this, I want you to understand, what does it actually mean to reduce toxic load? Because I get that question a lot where people are like, I don't even understand what it means to reduce toxic load. Okay. So reducing toxic load just means eliminating or preventing or getting rid of as much as we can. Sharing is paused. Oh wait, sorry. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. All right. Can you guys all see my screen? I'm not sure if this is working or not. Share, and then we're going to do it again. Okay, we're going to do it again. We're just going to start over. Okay. So this should be working. And so what did this reducing our toxic load is really just getting rid of all these, like what Julie was just talking about, all these toxins that are actually disrupting our hormones, disrupting our endocrine systems, disrupting the way our body can actually dance and flow. And sometimes it's reducing toxic load. We could be eating right, we could be exercising, we could be doing all the things on the bottom of this pyramid, but if we haven't figured out how to reduce our toxic load or eliminating things, it's going to be pretty hard to get that true picture of health and wellness, okay? Now, one of the things is that doTERRA has quarterly themes in the company where we get to educate and teach you, and it's kind of a little guideline. And for April, May, and June, our theme is reducing toxic load. And so that's why we really wanted you to understand what it actually means to reduce the toxic load. So as we go through the next couple of months, you can understand why we're so passionate about the DIY cleaning, why we're going to be so passionate about some of those health and beauty products that we have, why we're so passionate about what we're putting in our body. So that's what it means to reduce our toxic load. And so how do the toxins actually enter into our body, there's basically three main pathways in which they can go into our body. The first one is they can come through ingestion, okay? So you're thinking like, well, I wouldn't swallow toxic chemicals. Well, what if you're not washing your fruits and vegetables, okay? If you're not washing your fruits and vegetables and they've been, they've been on trucks that have gas, exhaust fumes, and they've been in warehouses, or maybe they were grown with pesticides and chemicals and all those different things, and we haven't washed them properly and we put them into our body, we're ingesting chemicals, right? That's toxins entering our system. Any processed food, any like sodas, anything like that, we are ingesting toxins into our body through our foods. And a lot of times we don't even realize that, okay? Skin contact is another way. So anything that you have, so our skin is actually our largest filtering organ of the body. The body wants to it has built-in defense mechanisms to actually filter out what's good and bad for it. And the skin is one of those different areas. And so just by being in an environment, we are actually absorbing things into our skin. So I want you to think about, Julie mentioned dryer sheets, okay? Dryer sheets are one of those top 10, like one of those top toxins, okay? But I want you to think about it. You wash your clothes in a fragranced laundry detergent, and then you dry it because you want it to smell so good, right? And then you dry it with a fabric softener, and it's got all these chemicals are now seeped into the fabric, and then we put them on our skin, right? I'm completely covered right now, okay? All of that would just go right into my skin. Okay. And so we might put lotions on our skin. Our skin is just this large filtering organ, and it's going to absorb right in. And that inhalation, because lungs are one of the second top filtering organs of the body, lungs. So anything through the lungs, inhalation. And so that's going to be in the air that we breathe. So those aerosol cleaners, things like that. The air that we breathe is affecting us. Okay. It takes less than a minute for most chemicals to enter the bloodstream after skin contact. We absorb up to 60% of what we put on our skin, and children absorb 40 to 50% more than adults, okay? So this is how the toxins are getting in, right? And so ingestion, skin contact, and inhalation. Now, some of this stuff we're not in control of, and other stuff we are. And so what we're going to focus in on, because we can't really do much about what we're not in, like air pollution, things like that, if you go to somebody else's home, but we can focus in on what we have going on in our home. So Julie, do you have anything to add to this? I don't know if I can unmute you. Anything to add to these filtering, or to the, like how our toxins are getting into our system?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the skin it does have a job. We do have a whole organ called our skin that is supposed to be filtering things. And then we have internal organs too, like, of course, the liver and kidneys that also are trying to filter things. And they're trying to protect us and do their job for our bodies. But we are inundating them with so many, guys, that we can't keep up. And that's why you can get away with a lot of things for several years in your life. But then in your 20s maybe, or maybe not until your 30s if you're lucky, you start developing allergies or all these different things that you didn't have before. So it's really the accumulation of all these things. We just can't keep up right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's just our bodies are like inundated and overloaded. And if you think about it, 50 years ago, like you were saying, the 80-year-old man, 50 years ago, did people have this problem? Or 100 years ago, did we have these problems? And the answer is no, right?
Right, exactly.
Right, because we didn't have all of these cleaners in the market. We didn't have, we didn't have all of these products that we were putting on our skin and our faces, and like early onset puberty, larger breast at a larger time, like height. It's all related to some of these different things, and so understanding how these toxins enter is really important for us. And so the next slide I'm going to go to is, so how's it affecting our health? And some of this we already know, but body products, they have so it's not just hormones, but let's chat a little bit about some of the other health concerns that might be happening because of all these toxins that we're exposed to. So one of the things that I've worked with, like I notice for myself when I go to homes that have toxic things like, plug-in type things or scent warmers especially, is I get a headache, right? Does that ever happen to you?
Oh, every time.
Okay, so why would you get a headache because of that?
Well, first of all, if it hasn't happened to you all listening yet, that's probably because you're still used to it. So you can get you can get used to pretty much anything. And so my whole life, for example, I lived in houses with, candles and plugins and all the things, right? All the artificial fragrances. I enjoyed going to Bath and Body Works and all the stores that have all the things. And then once you allow yourself to kind of detox from those things and get away from all of them for a while, even just maybe 6 months or so, then when you are exposed to these toxic things suddenly, like by going into someone else's house, like Katie said, it immediately can give you a stomach ache or a headache because your body's like, whoa, foreign invader that I am not accustomed to dealing with anymore. And now I'm realizing what it is for what it is, okay, which is going right up your nose, things that you smell, they go right up your nose, and it's called cranial nerve pathway number 1, your olfactory pathway. And when you smell things, if the molecules are small enough, they're going right to your brain, okay? That's a really big deal, and that's why you're getting these instant headaches from some of these fumes that you're exposed to. They're not good for you, okay?
And while we're on it, I've heard some facts before that some of the scent warmers have the same amount of carcinogens in them as secondhand smoke.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
which
absolutely.
Is like blows my mind.
Yep. It's like when I was a kid and I used to smell the gasoline at the gas pump. It's like, okay, maybe it smells good, but then you find out it's really bad for you. Now you don't sniff the gasoline at the gas station anymore, right? And we're just not like getting that with our adult smelly things. We're like, oh, It can't be that bad. It's legal. It can't be that bad. It's that bad.
Yes. And so when we're thinking of the lungs, I want you all to think about, because those lungs, if our lungs are compromised, what can happen? So we could actually have some more severe allergies, asthma, breathing issues, constant chronic breathing issues that can all actually be linked to some of the toxins that we have in your homes. Okay. Also, a lot of skin irritations, right? Because your skin, like anything happening on the skin, is actually coming from the gut. So if the gut has an onslaught of toxins, but also anything exposed. So sometimes a lot of times people will say, oh, I've got this rash and I can't get rid of it. And one of my first questions is always, what kind of laundry detergent are you using? Right? Because a lot of them have those things in them that could be causing irritations, skin irritations, things like that. So those are just some of the things that are linked. What other things do you have that are on this list that you can think of, Julie?
Well, I like this list a lot, but
Julie made this list, everyone.
Those are one of my favorite things. But yeah, I mean, these are things that, and interestingly enough, in Chinese medicine, we say that anything that's happening on your skin is actually coming from your lungs. So in Western medicine, they usually relate it more to the stomach, to the gut, but we say it's from the lungs. So, it really makes even more sense, I think, from my perspective, to see these hive breakouts and these rashes, this eczema, when it's really coming from the lung and all these respiratory things.
Yes, so much. Oof. All right. So if you guys, hopefully by now you get our point, is that there is a lot of health that can be trickled back to some of these toxins, right? And so what our goal is for the month of April is to really focus in on, this is what we don't want. Okay. I'm going to be totally honest. I was in a home a couple of weeks ago and this is what was in there. And it honestly, I actually had some skin irritations from, washing my clothes in this and being exposed, and I had a headache, and because I wasn't used to being around it. But this is what we're marketed to, right? This is what is easy to buy on the shelves at Target or Walmart or, through Amazon or whatever. This is what we're shown is supposed to be the way that we're supposed to clean. And the better the scent, Moonlight Breeze. Who doesn't want, Julie, do you want some Moonlight Breeze on your underwear?
I do not.
So lots of stuff going on here. And so this is what we're going to try. Our focus for April is this. We want you to learn how to clean with the essential oils. Okay. So there's tons of benefits. You guys all know if you're on this. Okay, just a minute. You guys all know that if you're on this webinar that we all love essential oils in here. And so why would you use essential oils to clean? Julie, do you want to share with that? Why would you use essential oils to clean?
Absolutely. Okay, so first of all, essential oils are very effective at cleaning. So I think that's the reason that people are even asking, like, why would you clean with those? Aren't they just smelly things? No. Okay, we have tons and tons of studies available now that are showing the extremely powerful antimicrobial nature of many of the essential oils. So that's why we're using them to clean, because they work, okay? What's great about using them to clean is that they don't have any of those toxic side effects. So we're not being exposed to carcinogenic fumes. We're not needing to be in a well-ventilated area. If you look at your shower sprays, usually say that, right? We're getting actually the benefits of immune boosting and bacteria killing in our respiratory tract when we're cleaning with essential oils. So I mean, I only clean my house with On Guard concentrate pretty much. That's it. Okay, my dishes, my countertops, my bathroom and kitchen surfaces, you name it. That is plenty effective. There's nothing that we are missing, you know. I definitely looked up studies for how effective it is on topical surfaces and all that. So before I would make the switch for my family, that's the key. Knowing that it's effective, knowing that it's non-toxic, and knowing that it's actually good for you, not just not bad for you, if that makes sense.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So no, when I made the switch, I remember I first thought to myself, oh, I'm going to use up everything I have and then I'll switch over. Right. And I lasted maybe 2 weeks with that decision. And I had all of this knowledge, the knowledge that we just shared with everyone. I didn't even have that much knowledge. And I was like, I can't just sit here with this. I have to take this knowledge and I have to do with it. And I remember having, like the banker's boxes, like the file banker boxes. I had 2 of those full of toxic cleaners that I dumped out. Two, because I wanted my house to be clean and smell good.
It's hard to waste things. I know so many people
hard to waste things, but I was just like, and I replaced it with like this one little bottle of On Guard concentrated cleaner and a few little other things. And so what we're going to do this month, in the month of April, we're getting ready to kick it off, is if you're not part of this group yet, you want to make sure you're in Essential Oil Academy. And what you're going to do in that group is all month long, we're going to be sharing with you easy ways to clean your home with essential oils. Okay. So we're going to talk about that On Guard concentrated cleaner. We're going to have a glass cleaner. I think we're going to have different things. So we're just going to feature different things. Each week, we're just going to drip a few more things to you. At the end, there'll be a nice little ebook that we have with all those recipes, or you can share, you can ask questions. I know a lot of people want like tub cleaners, things like that. We can all do it with essential oils. So we're focusing in on our home environment because that's where most of us are. We're going to look at the laundry room. We're going to look at, we talked about those dryer sheets. Julie, do you have an option? Do you have a solution for dryer sheets?
I do. So this is the one other thing that I use for cleaning in the house, and that's plain white vinegar. So in the laundry, I put about a half a cup of vinegar into the washing machine. And then in the dryer, I just use the wool dryer balls with a couple drops of either lavender essential oil or Purify, which is another great laundry boosting blend.
Yep. I don't use vinegar. Do you know what I use?
What?
Epsom salts.
Oh, I've heard that.
So I use Epsom salts and I put that in the wash cycle, and I put oils in with it, and I just let it soak in like a quart jar, and it only takes a tablespoon.
Oh,
it doesn't take very much. And that's what I use. And then I use the wool dryer balls with some kind of oil on it. So, so many different ways. So that's what we're going to be sharing with you, but we wanted to kick it off with this little chat. I'm really sad that we couldn't see Julie's beautiful face. Well, we can kind of, it's your little picture. But we just wanted to kick it off for you to understand the importance, because sometimes if we just dive into a topic, we don't understand, like, why are they like so crazy about DIY cleaning, and so we thought this was a perfect time of the year as well, because it's April, and everybody, you can open up your windows and you can air out your house and you can clean and you can make it nice and fresh. But we're also going to be featuring different diffuser blends, because we just talked about those scent warmers and plug-ins not being good for us. And so we're going to start to look at different diffusing blends, but we're really focusing in on how we can make our homes non-toxic, so that we can enjoy and kind of start to get rid of this. And then as we go into May, I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek. As we go into May and June, we'll focus in on how we can actually cleanse and reduce toxic load in our GI tract, and with a lot of our products, like our self-care and our beauty products and things that we're using, because I've pretty much switched everything out. Have you, Julie?
Pretty much, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And it can be like all at once, or more of us do it like in a rolling method. So that's fine too.
Yep. Nope. I have done everything in layers upon layers. And then there's some stuff that still, like, I still can't find hairspray. Like, it's not.
Luckily, I don't use hairspray. Woo!
But I don't use very much of it. Okay. So we've all got, so thank you so much for joining us. Do you have anything else you want to share with them before we pop off, Julie?
No, just learn that, like, there's a good mantra, you know, just like, you don't have to abide by the negative one. Like, everything's bad for you. That's totally not true. And I hear that so much, and it makes me so sad. That just means that you don't know what you need to try. Okay. So we're going to teach you all the ways that you can know better, and then you're going to be able to do better so much more easily.
Yep. And then you get to make the choice. You can start big, you can start small, but we just want you to have the knowledge, and we want you to have the tools so that you can make the decision. So we're all passionate about our health, and we're passionate about helping you with your health. So let's have some fun this month in our green cleaning and essential oil academy. And then next month we'll move on to the next topic. But ask your questions in that group. If you're a part of Facebook, that's going to be where a lot of the action is happening. So have some fun, and thanks for everyone that joined us tonight. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye.